Hello guys, welcome back to Most Coasters. Today we're going to be taking a quick look at California's Great America and talking about where I think their roller coasters are going to going throughout the chain. Obviously, I'm not as knowledgeable about this subject as probably California's Great America fanboys or even Cedar Fair fanboys who know about all their different parks. But I'm going to do my best to try and decide where these coasters are going, because I've seen some insane things. I saw one Instagram post that said 3 different coasters would be going to Cedar Point, which I don't think any are, and I've seen some insane posts saying like Patriot, their floorless, is going to King's Dominion. That is insane. So I'm going to talk about these coasters. I'm also going to talk about the Cedar Fair chain, how this is going to affect them. But first off, I'm going to mention my home park, Six Flags Great America. The main thing they're going to benefit probably from how this is going to turn out is they're going to receive some parts for the Demon. My guess is they're going to get bought. They're going to receive some parts for the Demon. I've also seen something saying they could buy the Skyride. I see that as more possible than it seems. I think Six Flags Great America could buy a lot of things right now to improve their park and make it more of a destination park, more of a family park, because again, I see that pretty likely. So now let's talk about Cedar Fair. There's a few things I want to mention before I mention where I think the coasters are going. So first off, Knott's is landlocked. I'm just going to say this right now. I don't think any coasters are going there. I also really don't see Cedar Point getting any coasters. I do mention one possibility towards the end, but I think it's pretty likely that they receive a roller coaster in the near future, whether it be a GCI or whatever. I believe that a new coaster is going to go in that plot by the boardwalk where Wicked Twister was. I just see that as a likely possibility that a top tier coaster is going to go there. I don't necessarily see it likely that a coaster, someone said RailBlazer, will be going where Top Thrill Dragster is. First off, RailBlazer does not have the capacity, nor do many of these coasters. And I don't see that as a possibility at Cedar Point. I think, first off, Top Thrill Dragster's plot is too small for a lot of these coasters, and I just don't think Cedar Point is going to want many of these. So let's move on to one more thing I want to talk about, and that is Worlds of Fun and Dorney Park. They are both pretty likely, it's pretty likely they're going to be getting some coasters in the near future. Worlds of Fun has some land clearing going on. That's pretty cool. Kings Island also has some land clearing, and Dorney Park has been rumored for a few years now they're going to get their new, I believe it's Gravity Group Boomerang wooden coaster. Be sick if they get that. I would really like to see that. Other than that, there's not really any other rumored coasters. People have talked about Michigan's Adventure getting the Titan track. I forget if that's for this season or next season. And I think that's about it for coasters in the chain that are like rumored for pretty soon. So that's going to kind of play into when the coasters get moved. So I'll talk about the locations in a second, but you just got to think about that this coaster, they're going to be winding it down. So the first coaster to leave is probably going to be something smaller, and the last one's probably going to be something like RailBlazer, but they're going to slowly, throughout the years, be distributing these coasters. And I think it'll play into kind of some of the coasters that these parks are getting now. Worlds of Fun, if they get a coaster this year, it's going to push back them getting their coaster, and so it'll help California's Great America stay as a more complete park for longer. And then once it's been a few years and the lifespan of CGA is winding down, then Worlds of Fun will receive their coaster. So let's talk about the locations of these. I'll start with the worst ones, go to the better ones. One coaster I really don't have any ideas for is their kiddie coaster, Lucy's Krabby Cabbies. It's like Cedar Point's Wilderness Run. If I had to guess, it'll probably go to one of their smaller parks again, but I have no clue. So I guess I'll go with Worlds of Fun. So first off, we'll talk about Woodstock Express. So we know right now there's no rumored coaster for Valley Fair, and Woodstock Express, being the worst coaster of this park, may be leaving sooner rather than later, just a few years maybe. The reason I put it at Valley Fair specifically is because all they have is Cosmic Coaster, and I believe this is a roller skater model. It'd make a little bit of sense to give some variety to Valley Fair. When you look across the whole chain, all these parks have a few kiddie coasters, minus the bad ones. So Kings Island has got 3 kiddie coasters. Cedar Point, I believe, has 3 kiddie coasters. Carowinds has, I think, 2 kiddie coasters. Kings Dominion has 2 or 3 kiddie coasters. Dorney Park just has 1, and so does Worlds of Fun and Valley Fair and Michigan's Adventure. So any of those parks would make sense. I believe Valley Fair will be receiving this because they are honestly, of the rest of the coasters, or generally their lineup is the worst, and they aren't looking like they're going to be getting any new coasters ground up soon. So I think it makes sense to give them a little extra something because they really don't have much, and I don't think they're going to be getting many new coasters soon anyway. So yeah, good for them. They'll be getting Woodstock Express. Next, we're going to move on to the second worst, Psycho Maps. And I believe this will be going to Worlds of Fun because Valley Fair, Michigan's Adventure, Dorney Park, Kings Dominion, all have wild mouses. And the better parks do not have wild mouses, but I don't really see it likely that they're going to get them. Actually, some of the bigger parks do. Both Canada's Wonderland and Carowinds both have wild mouse. So then you're left with, the worst parks again that could receive, or a few parks that could receive this wild mouse. And it's really down to, you either give it to Cedar Point or Kings Island, both very unlikely, or you give it to Worlds of Fun. And I just think Worlds of Fun seems like the best choice. Give them a nice little wild mouse. They have a boomerang, but and they have some other clones. I just don't think a clone will hurt the park. Now, as for when, I think, again, this new coaster coming in 2023. So I would say in 3 or 4 years from now, I think they'll be ready to receive Psycho Mouse. And hopefully they theme it a little better than it is. And really, their park, they have loads of space. Plenty of space to put a new wild mouse that'll hopefully boost their lineup just a little bit. With this and whatever hopefully thrilling new coaster, I think this park will be better suited to compete with Lost Island Adventureland. Now, the next worst is, in my opinion, Patriot, and they're going to be getting the worst of the thrilling roller coasters. There are 3 pretty thrilling coasters that I think are going to get moved, and I think they're going to get the worst of those 3. And this coaster is Patriot. It is a floorless conversion. Again, like I said at the beginning, someone said it's going to Kings Dominion. That's stupidity. They already have a floorless. I also don't see it going to a park like Carowinds that has, I think it's still stand-up vortex. I don't see it going to Dorney with a floorless. I don't see it going to any of the other truly large parks, or like Cedar Point has a floorless. I think this floorless coaster, which is a pretty bad coaster, will go to a pretty bad park. I think Michigan's Adventure will receive Patriot. It will boost their park. It will boost their, hopefully, attendance, although they're in the middle of nowhere. And hopefully this helps this park. As for when, I think, again, this is going to stay for a little bit. I think Michigan's Adventure doesn't have an issue with waiting a while. If the rumors about the Titan track are true, that they can advertise that as a new coaster for Michigan's Adventure. Wait 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 or 6 years, and then relocate Patriot at the end of CGA's lifespan. Poor CGA. This is so sad. Okay, let's move on to the next coaster. So the next one we'll talk about is Flight Deck. Flight Deck is an inverted coaster. There's one of the first few inverts ever built, and I think this one will be going to Valley Fair. So they are going to be receiving Woodstock Express, which I think will be going pretty early in the removal process, but I think pretty late in the process Flight Deck will get shipped out, and I think Valley Fair is the perfect location. They have an inverted launch coaster, the only launch of the park, and I think they could use a regular B&M invert. Looking across the chain overall, here are the parks that have already inverts. You've got Knott, Cedar Point, Worlds of Fun, Dorney Park, Kings Island. I believe I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody that has an invert. You've also got Michigan's Adventure with a SLC, and some other, I believe, I'm probably forgetting somebody who's an invert. Oh yeah, Carowinds, duh, I'm stupid. Carowinds also has an invert. So with all those parks that have inverted coasters, I think it makes the most sense to give this park an invert. It'll boost their lineup. This combined with the kiddie coaster, like Worlds of Fun, will be much better to compete with the new Lost Island theme park and Adventureland. And that's another reason this makes sense to me, is the rest of the chain, this kind of bottom half of the chain, is really suffering, and they're about to have new competition. So I personally think it makes the most sense for them to have sold it. I think and right now, the reason it makes sense is because we are on, the housing market. I'm not going to pretend I know about all that stuff, but it makes the most sense to sell it right now. It's just when you're at the top of the market, you want to sell it so you can get the most money, and that's what they did. I don't think they're going to build a new park to replace it nearby or anything. So I just think it's a good time to give the rest of your chain some revitalization, and also obviously kind of throw off some of that debt that they got over COVID. Now the final major coaster that I'm pretty sure is going to get moved is RailBlazer. I had a tougher time deciding where this will go because a lot of parks could use it. I've already given some coasters to Worlds of Fun and Valley Fair and Michigan's Adventures, so I didn't think RailBlazer would go there. But I don't think it's going to go to King's Dominion because I think they have some plans in the works for KD. I think they're going to be getting a wing coaster or some sort of large-scale addition, and I think they already have that planned out. So I also think parks like Kings Island, Cedar Point, Canada's Wonderland, Carowinds, and even King's Dominion are too large to receive RailBlazer. So I think it's down to the small parks, and the rest of them already have something. So I'm going to give it to Dorney Park. This is also one of the better coasters, so we know Dorney is going to be getting in the short term hopefully, I really hope they get this, a GC or a Gravity Group boomerang wooden coaster. So I think at the end, again, towards the end of CGA's lifespan, they're going to move RailBlazer to Dorney. This will make this park way better. This is something they've needed. I've thought they should get a single rail for a while, but I think the new Raptor could do some major damage at Dorney and make this a much more competitive park. This park is competing with a lot of other parks in New Jersey. You've got Six Flags Great Adventure. You've got Hershey Park not too far from here. That's why I did them both. It just makes sense. They're also competing kind of with Six Flags America and a lot of those parks that are in that, Philadelphia area. So there's a lot of parks there, and I think these two coasters, if they both happened, like Valley Fair and like Worlds of Fun, could really revitalize the park and make it competitive with the nearby parks. Finally, we're going to talk about Gold Striker, which I could see possibly being relocated. Now, it is extremely expensive to move a wooden coaster, so that's why I do not think Grizzly will move. I also don't think Demon will be relocated because it's old. So I think those parts, again, as I said before, will probably be going to Six Flags Great America. But I do think Gold Striker could definitely be going to Carowinds or Cedar Point if it's not scrapped, obviously. But I think either of those parks could use a wooden coaster. First off, there is that space at Cedar Point, so if they moved it right now, it could go right by the boardwalk. It could, as much as I don't want Top Thrill Dragster to leave, could go in that plot. I'm not sure it necessarily fits. There might be a lot of path moving and trees being cut down and stuff like that. But I could definitely see it there. Gemini could get killed. It's lived a long life. It'd be fine for me if they just put it there. You could also put it at Carowinds, which needs the coaster pretty badly. They're wooden coasters. They took out the Racing Woody, and now they're left with Hurler, which is plain bad. So this could definitely help elevate either of those parks. And to scrap this thing would be insane in my mind. This coaster is legendary. So I definitely think of any of the coasters, this is the one that deserves to move. So yeah, that's my opinion for the 6 roller coasters that are going to be moving. So that is it for today's video. It has been a really long one. I want to apologize to all CGA fans. I can't help make it better, but it really is tough. I would just say to all you guys, visit the park as many times as you can before it closes, because if you're just, salty the whole 11 years, you're going to be really sad. So just visit the park, enjoy it. It is 11 years. It's 11 freaking years. So the park's going to be around for a while longer. There could be other parks that close in 11 years that would be far more devastating. At least you have a heads up. You know that you got to visit a few times before all the good coasters close. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.